Sarah always dreamed of faraway places and had a love for exotic animals. She grew up loving trips to the zoo with her family. The maps of each unique animal's native home were especially intriguing. The dolphins of the world needed her help to save them, and the red pandas of the Himalayas required her too. She especially wanted to work with Shamu someday. Red pandas became Sarah's mission, and she wanted to save them. It was evident from an early age that Sarah had a passion for things bigger than herself. Sarah's thirst for adventure, and particularly adventures that included exotic animals, found its literary complement in the Magic Treehouse series by Mary Pope Osborne. Jack and Annie got to work with animals and see the world. They helped shape her worldview to incorporate things bigger than what she saw in her everyday life. They made her love the cultures of the world, and it specifically made her want to experience them.
For me, I grew up and I had fun playing and just playing in my town and seeing my town, and that was the world to me. But as I got older and I read the Magic Treehouse books, I realized that there was something completely bigger than what I was seeing on a day-to-day basis. I was realizing that there was cultures outside of the culture that I knew. And I was fortunate as a kid. My parents took us on a lot of adventures. They took us all over the United States, well, specifically the eastern part of the United States. And so I went to Washington, D.C., and Philadelphia, and Maine, and a lot of different places. But from reading these Magic Treehouse books that I had spent so many years reading as a child, I knew there was cultures bigger than what I was finding. I knew from having book challenges with my friends and from reading one adventure after another that I knew that the adventures I was going on were great, but I wanted more. And being a middle class family, it wasn't an option, my parents said, to go across the world on a family vacation, that wasn't something we spent money on. And so although I knew those cultures were out there, and although I knew going overseas would allow me to see those cultures, I didn't have a way to go and to venture on those missions.
Sarah's life began to change drastically on her first mission trip to Alaska. Although still a domestic experience, Jack and Annie's adventures were turning into her reality, and her worldview was expanding. Her passion for adventures got her off the ground, but her bigger heart for others let her soar. Somewhere along the flight, well, actually numerous flights, Sarah fell in love with missions.
This was the first time in my life I had the opportunity to travel. And by travel, I mean go somewhere farther than the continental US. I was no longer going on a safe and comfortable trip with my family like I had growing up, but now I was signing up with complete strangers to go halfway around the world. But it was for a greater purpose than myself. The people and the cultures I knew were out there, I was finally interacting with. It was no longer just my imagination, but I was actually getting to see them, and it was becoming reality. I'm not making the statement that the reason I wanted to go on mission trips is for my own self-benefit of traveling. Instead, what I see it as is God was weaving the passions kindled in my heart to travel and see the world as a young child and through the Magic Treehouse books. And with this, my love for other people and a desire to serve others and share about Christ's love meshed together is what enabled me to go on missions and to have the passion to do so.
Sarah now has a greater understanding of the world around her, and in her specific mission adventures, she is especially aware of the spiritual needs of its people. Jack and Annie's adventures got her thinking about the rest of the world. Her adventures developed her passion, and her passion has inspired her to reach others around the world for the rest of her life. The Magic Treehouse books gave her the introduction to the big wide world, but her constant passion for others made her unique adventures from Alaska to Nepal and everywhere in between possible.